In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, Barbadians told the Cricket World Cup investments will benefit the country in the long term. New plans outlined for the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Discussions underway with insurance companies about covering the cost of medicinal cannabis. And in sports, the Kensington Oval pitch receiving final touches for its Sunday World Cup debut.
Tonight's headline news is sponsored by Flow.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. All Barbadians must now play their role as part of the welcoming party to the world ahead of the 2024 ICC T20 Men's Cricket World Cup, which bowls off at Kensington Oval on Sunday. This call from Prime Minister Mia Motley was made moments ago during a town hall meeting at the Mecca. Our Sharika Griffith is live at Kensington Oval for that gathering, and she joins us live now to give us some of the main points coming out of that event. Good night, Sharika.
Good night, Wendy. Well, Prime Minister Motley has been reminding Barbadians about the importance of the investment at Kensington Oval and several other areas across the country. She says they will benefit sports development as well as the tourism industry, and has told the public they have a role to play.
We don't have a lot, but we have spirit. And we have the ability to make people feel welcome and warm in a sincere and authentic way. And that's all I'm asking us to do in the next month. The world will be visiting us. And when the world visits us, we will be on our best behavior, but we will be genuinely based.
Well, Wendy, Prime Minister Motley says the 2024 World Cup is not here by accident.
We set out to go for the World Cup bid. And Minister Griffith, Charles Griffith, I want you to stand and your ministry and to thank you for you, Vancourt Rouse, all of the rest of the team. Vancourt, where are you? All of the rest of your team, please stand. We did not get here by accident. We set out to achieve this. And there's a message in it too. Because Vancourt, you were there in 2007 along with the others. And the message is that we will always carry from the best in the past and add to the best in the present to make the best in the future.
And recounting some of the glory days at Kensington Oval, Prime Minister Motley says the current generation now has to create their own memories.
And that is why we have determined that those of you who now carry the flag for the West Indies, those of you in the maroon, that we will continue to lift you up, because we know that every day may not be sunny, but we know that hope lives eternal in our heart, and that with discipline and hope and commitment to excellence, as we saw in the last week in Jamaica, West Indies can make it over and over and over again.
We also heard that Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Santia Bradshaw, will be asked to meet with taxi operators regarding their accommodation at big events such as the T20 World Cup. The request has come from Prime Minister Motley as she responded to the issue raised by a taxi operator during the Q&A section of the town hall meeting.
Part of the difficulty that we have where Kensington is located is that you would know that there's not a lot of parking here. And therefore the government is seeking to create park and ride, because we can't accommodate everybody who would want to come to Kensington in cars. So I would ask you to make your representations to the Deputy Prime Minister, who is Minister of Transport, and we can factor that in to what we are doing. But I also want us to know that we have houses there, we have buildings there, we have the highway which has to remain open in the event of emergency. So it's going to be difficult for us to find parking in the immediate environs of Kensington, but we are trying to use other locations.
Now, earlier, hundreds of Barbadians and tourists responded to the call from the Prime Minister to tour the Oval, where Rachel Agard was on location and filed this report.
Hundreds of people descended on President Kennedy Drive to get a first-hand look at Kensington Oval upgrades. The Caribbean's Mecca of cricket is set to host 9 matches, including the June 29th final of the 2024 International Cricket Council T20 Men's Cricket World Cup. Amid last-minute preparations, Chairman of Kensington Oval Management Inc., Damian Gaskin, says people were given guided tours today ahead of Sunday's action.
At 1 o'clock, when the gates were scheduled to be open, we had a line outside, right? When we finally opened the gates, we probably approximately 200 persons or more walked into Kensington Oval. Many PM announced we wanted to do an open day for the public. We had no idea what to expect, whether persons would come out to the numbers or not.
Fans were welcomed to the first-class facility by the rhythm of the Tuck Band. Elsa Branford, who last visited the Mecca more than a decade ago, readily accepted the Prime Minister's invitation to tour the facility and will be present at the England versus Australia game on Saturday.
I am glad she done that because I was really looking forward to seeing Kensington before the cricket started, before I got to the match. I just wanted to see, so I'm glad she did that. When I heard her say that, I was like, yes.
Adil Stewart says he has plans of attending some of the games next month.
It's a wonderful feeling from what I've seen. I haven't even done the tour yet. I just arrived. But from what I'm seeing, they've really put in some work. It is such a transformation. That's all I can say. It is really beautiful from what I'm seeing. So when I see the tour now, I will have to tell you how I feel about it. But I am sure it lives up to expectations.
Lois Lithcock says she last visited Kensington Oval during summer 2023 and intends to attend at least one match.
I think it looks very good. I think it's money well spent. The field looks very green. The additional seating, it looks good. I haven't done the tour yet, but I'm impressed with what I've seen so far.
Meanwhile, Joyanne Hurley says the new venue is in pristine shape.
It's nice. I can't even remember what it looked like. I used to come here in the dark, so so it's really nice and well manicured lawn.
And while cricket has been dubbed the game of glorious uncertainties, one thing that is certain, come Sunday, Barbadians and tourists alike will be out in their numbers to view the games at Kensington Oval. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Well, Wendy, those are some of the main stories coming out of today's open day and town hall meeting. An action-packed day to be sure, and we're expecting more of the same come Sunday. Wendy?
Yes, thank you so much, Sharika, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to Sunday's games. Version 3.0 of the Bridgetown initiative has been launched for consultation at the 4th International Conference on Small Island Developing States in Antigua. It seeks to change rules around representation at international financial institutions and the use of per capita gross national income as a criterion for access. Prime Minister Mayor Amor Motley says Bridgetown 3.0 calls for consideration to be given to a global solidarity levy for people and planet.
Whether it is on fossil fuels, windfall profits, whether it is on international financial transactions or emissions from shipping and aviation that are intended all to be able to allow us to do the financing of global public goods. First and foremost climate, but beyond climate. Another contributor would have to be in a new framework, a global compact with philanthropy, recognizing that they get to spend money on what they want, but we now need them to spend money on what the world needs as well. This will allow us to be able to have adequate financing for climate, but other global public goods that are critical because we are not a one-issue people.
Improvements in the Accident and Emergency Department are on the high priority list for the Chief Executive Officer at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I met with Neil Clark and filed this report on the A&E. The wait is too long in the Accident and Emergency Department at the QEH. That observation from Chief Executive Officer Neil Clark early in his tenure. He tells CBC the hospital does need some developments, but it has a good team and better can be done. Mr. Clark says the A&E is one of those areas needing improvement.
I know that the A&E waiting times are causing a lot of pain, and rightfully so. Nobody should be waiting in A&E any longer than what they need to be. You're in pain and you're afraid and you don't know what's going on, or your family members in pain and afraid and you're worried for them. So nobody should be in the A&E department any longer than they need to be. So we need to do something about the waits in the A&E department. But that's a whole system problem, and that's about me working with the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the polyclinics and the private sector and everybody else about why are people presenting at the A&E department? What are the alternatives? And what can we do even to stop them becoming ill in the first place?
He says they're working with partners such as the polyclinics and Ministry of Health to help people better understand if their condition is indeed an emergency or not. According to him, a Choose Well campaign could help.
They're going to where they think's the right place. There's no doubt about that. They think they need help and they're coming here for that help. I guess it's how we educate them that there's help available in other places. Choose Well campaigns. You know, maybe the pharmacy could have helped you. Maybe a phone call could have helped you. Maybe the polyclinic could have helped you.
Mr. Clark says he's looked at what can be done to help the department.
There are things we can still do internally. I've had a look at the A&E department and how it functions. There are things that we can do to improve the patient flow through that department and to further improve how we escalate and manage when it gets busy. There will be times when there's a spike of attendances coming in, which for the next 4, 5 or 6 hours we've got to put extra resource in to manage that. We can be more responsive and do that. It's also my role here to work out how the different departments in the hospital support the A&E department, both in general regular times and in points of escalation, pathology, radiology, inpatient beds.
He also believes there's some areas which are unsatisfactory.
Patients waiting in A&E 2 days, patients not moving up onto the wards when there's a bed available because of the time. That's not acceptable. So I'll be working, and we've already started some work with the wards, the medical wards, about how we can get better patient flow through the wards.
Barbadians are once more being urged to invest in the local medicinal cannabis industry to help reduce the cost of the product locally. Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, Shanika Roberts-Odle, made the point during an exclusive interview with CBC News. Roberts-Odle acknowledges it is cheaper to purchase a 3-ounce bottle of cannabis oil at $60 from the black market compared to $267 for an 8-ounce bottle of cannabis oil prescribed by a medical professional.
We need those persons who want to be able to cultivate to step forward, to seek their license, and then to go out and cultivate. Because once we have a cultivation and a manufacturing locally done, then we can absolutely bring down the cost. So if we can do that locally and build a strong local industry, and one that includes the manufacturing and production of medicinal cannabis oils, then we can severely cut down that cost.
Additionally, Roberts-Odle notes with the high cost of the prescribed products, the BMCLA is currently in conversations with insurance companies to cover the drug, which is not currently being done.
What we do is we have conversations and we advocate. And I have had conversations with the insurance associations. I've recently had a very promising conversation with a very established insurance agency, and we've pointed out these things to them, and they're looking to see, okay, it would involve them changing their contract. What can they do to address this issue?
Coming up, another individual charged for the death of Sonia Paris. A second individual has been charged for the death of Sonia Paris. 44-year-old Keisha Carrie-Ann Brathwaite-Burke of the corner of Bino Road, Worthing View and Rendezvous Road, Christchurch, appeared before the magistrate at the District C Court in Oistins today. She was not allowed to plead to the indictable charge and was remanded to Dodds Prison until June 19th. Paris, formerly of Edie Village, Christchurch, was the subject of a police missing persons report after she disappeared on April 17th. She was last seen at 10 that night when she left the Chefette restaurant in Wildy St. Michael, where she worked. The Barbados Police Service is asking for the public's help in locating a wanted man. 52-year-old Anderson Orlando Phillips, alias Boxer or Buffett, is wanted for questioning in connection with serious criminal matters. Phillips's last known address is Clark's Gap, Spooners Hill, or My Lord's Hill, St. Michael. He is approximately 5 feet 8 inches tall, of dark complexion, and with medium build. Phillips is advised that he can present himself to the District B Police Station, Boarded Hall, St. George, accompanied by an attorney of his choice. Anyone who may know the whereabouts of Anderson Orlando Phillips is asked to contact the nearest police station. Members of the public are also reminded that it is a serious offense to harbor or assist wanted individuals. Anyone caught committing this offense can be prosecuted. A call has been made by a government minister for new and strategic measures to be adopted to strengthen the education systems of Barbados and the wider region against the escalating climate crisis. Joshua Hinkson has that story.
In an address to the Caribbean Union of Teachers workshop focused on the implications of climate change on the future of work, Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment Chad Blackman outlined a vision for Barbados and the region. His vision includes reforms being made in the education sector to ensure it can withstand the effects of climate change. Minister Blackman, who previously served as the senior advisor to the Director General of the International Labour Organization, believes training, adaptation and financing are key in the quest to building a climate-resilient teaching service.
It would therefore mean that you have to retool and retrain. And I want to encourage the CUT and also in your national unions to have a part of your funds that you maybe perhaps collect from members or however you derive that. Part of that funding should be about building climate resilience. So I know there's already ongoing training that you have amongst your members, but I want to encourage you and encourage you strongly from where I see it to dedicate a part of your funding to the training of your members in climate resilience.
Noting that the teaching service is pivotal to the advancement of society, Minister Blackman encouraged the regional body to also make changes to its structure.
And therefore, I would recommend that within the CUT structure that you have a subcommittee which reports to the wider committee, but for implementation, that focuses on climate, the just transition, and how to create a regionally resilient, climate resilient teaching service.
While acknowledging that addressing issues related to wages and working conditions are important, Minister Blackman called on the union movement to go beyond these issues to assisting governments of the Caribbean in the further development of the region.
But I also want you to see that as you meet as a regional union, that you help regional governments to reposition the Caribbean into what is, my view, the most prosperous region in the world. If we can get it right, we can do it because we're small enough, we have the requisite resources, but it's how do we realign those resources to be able to go in that direction.
Joshua Hinkson, CBC News.
In news from the Upper House, the issue of education reform has been raised during the debate on the Child Protection Bill. There was an exchange between Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Chad Blackman, and Opposition Senator Tricia Watson over the opposition stance on the abolition of the 11+ exam. Senator Blackman called on the leader of the opposition in the Senate to apologize for the stance of the Democratic Labour Party on the issue of the 11+, which he says continues to contribute to societal inequalities. Senator Watson responded saying the stated position is not hers.
The Democratic Labour Party, I'm asking you to apologize to the people because you're not helping us to break down the inequalities in this society. An apology is needed.
Senator Watson, now what they raise?
It's on a point of clarification.
Yes.
I just want to clarify for Senator Blackman that the leader of opposition business in the Senate has never intimated that the 11+ should be retained. I just want to make that clear, and I'm hoping that he does not put out there, put abroad that that is a position that has been taken by the Leader of Opposition Business in the Senate. He can go on with his request for an apology, but he's not to attribute that statement to me.
Thank you very much for that clarification, Senator Watson.
Mr. President, sir, I have never seen such a disassociation of a leader of government business in a Senate from the leader of opposition in the other place. I have never seen it in my life.
Members of the Rockfield community and students of the Ignatius Bayer Primary School can now get lost in the magical world of books at a new mini library. This mini library is the 8th installment of its kind after the community centre was closed for repairs for 7 years. Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment Charles Griffith is hopeful there will be 20 more set up across the island, but urges members of the community to donate books to the library. He was speaking during the Barbados's Blooming launch, a literacy project of the Prince Godwell Foundation and the Massey Foundation at the Rockfield Community Centre in St. Lucie.
I want to say that this, in my mind, is a holistic project that will not only seek to embrace the youngsters at the school, but for the seniors and those adults within the community who may not be able to get close to a library, but now we have a facility here that they can come and share. And one of the things that I'm asking for, MP Phillips, is that the wider community embrace this by expanding the mini library, by providing books, either a situation where books that are used or to purchase books and to help facilitate the expansion of the library.
Minister Griffith says he was also looking forward to seeing mini reading clubs and study halls created and expanded to all other locations. Member of Parliament for St. Lucie, Peter Phillips, describes the project as wholesome and timely and urges students to make good use of the library.
Over the past year, through grandfathering, through streaming, and through regular
Central Bank Governor Dr. Kevin Greenidge is urging staff to continue striving for excellence and personal development. He offered the advice at the bank's 2024 Staff Awards Gala and Dinner at the Wyndham Grand Sam Lord's Castle. It was held under the theme Elevate, Empower, Excel, Internalizing Excellence. The staff received awards for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 and 45 years of service.
Over the past year, through grandfathering, through streaming, and through regular promotions, we have advanced more than 50 members of the bank staff. It is also important for you to do your part as staff and find ways to elevate yourself. Indeed, the personal development plans that you have designed with your managers are intended to be a guide for you on this path.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In. Pause is power. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Sports time now with Anne-Marie Burke. Well, Anne-Marie, it seems as though everybody's anticipating Sunday.
Oh, definitely, Wendy. Back to the Mecca we go as the stage is almost set for Barbados to host the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Cricket. With just a few days left until the first match at Kensington Oval, work will soon be completed at the new-look facility, especially on the all-important playing surface. CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce takes an in-depth look.
The ICC Men's T20 Cricket World Cup bowls off on Saturday, and as you can see behind me, the final preparations are ongoing here at Kensington Oval, the venue for the final on June 29th. While scores of Barbadians were busy touring the region's Mecca and getting a first-hand look at the world-class renovations and upgrades, officials continued to work on the ground to ensure it's in the best shape for cricket. One of the most interesting new dimensions to Kensington Oval is the playing deck. And when CBC Sports visited the venue, curators were spotted fine-tuning the brand new track. What you can see are the final touches being laid on the pitch here at Kensington Oval. And according to head groundsman Nigel Newton, this is one of the best playing surfaces in the Caribbean.
The pitch that we are playing on right now, we see the one that the groundsman is rolling, Shaki rolling, that's the one that we starting the game on Sunday. So we'll be playing two games on that one. It is in good condition. Hopefully we get some good scores. And then we'll go on to the second pitch from the scoreboard side to play 2 more games on. But the score is in good condition. We expect good runs.
Newton also said a contingency plan is in place to ensure the pitch is fully preserved.
So we put on the pitch cover and then the 2 big covers. Also, we got something is like a Hessian mat, which will absorb the moisture to make the surface look better on game day. So protection-wise, we covered.
Chairman of Kensington Oval Management Inc., Damien Gaskin, also had high praises for the pitch and the outfield.
It's been 6 or so months of work. It's been every single day, non-stop, and the outfield looks in immaculate condition. This pitch is a new pitch block that went into place after England, and I think the ground staff is certainly happy with the preparation, happy with how it looks, and we expect the pitch to play very well.
Barbados is set to host 9 matches, with the first on June 2nd. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Barbados Football Association has named a 22-member squad for their opening fixtures of the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Ace marksman Thierry Gill misses out due to injury, while there is no room for overseas-based professionals Hallam Hope and Christian Pierce. Veteran defender Rommel Burgess has however been recalled. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce reports on last night's media and training session.
A new era is set to begin for the Barbados senior men's national football team with interim head coach Kent Hall in charge. The Tridents will start their FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign against Curacao on June 6, before returning for a home encounter against Haiti at the World of Turf on June 9th. Speaking during a team media session, Hall said he's satisfied with the squad selected, given the short space of time.
I'm always cautiously optimistic. There's still a lot of work to be done, a lot of details that we need to get down to, but we'll hit them as hard as we can in the next few days once we got the boys in camp, and we'll see how things all pan out.
Left back Andrea Appowit says the team is in good spirits ahead of 2 tough encounters.
Personally, I'll be working very hard, as a lot of players can see, and just putting myself in them positions to score some goals, and everybody's willing to play.
The Barbados team is set to depart the island on Friday. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
The Business Report is brought to you with the kind compliments of the National Insurance and Social Security Service. More than a contribution, it's your lifeline.
In tonight's business report, while the Mayor Motley administration is being praised for its EV revolution, it is being asked to do more to make those vehicles more affordable for the average citizen. The call has come from Professor Christopher Ora, a professor of veterinary virology at UWI St. Augustine. He made the call during a media interview on the sidelines of the UWI Climate Change and Health Leaders Fellowship introductory workshop at the Tamarind Cove Hotel. That workshop examined the connections between climate change and health.
A very large proportion of those greenhouse gases, those gases that are causing the problems, are coming from our cars. It's inevitable because we're burning fossil fuels. So if we have electric cars, we remove that. We remove all those greenhouse gases from the situation. That's what we have to do. We have to work very hard at thinking about how we are going to all try to reduce the levels of those greenhouse gases, reduce our use of fossil fuels. And sometimes it's not easy because it costs money often, but we have to, and our governments have to subsidize these things, so it gives people the opportunity to be able to do that.
A new business has opened in Speightstown, St. Peter. It's the Sprinkle Dinkle Cake Store. It's a second outlet for owner Theresa Stewart, and she's hoping her investment can add some sparkle to the business in the area. Trevor Thorpe reports.
Theresa Stewart is the owner of this baker's paradise called Sprinkle Dinkle. She says the opening of this Speightstown outlet is a response to calls from the public and from a cross-section of bakers in the north. Ms. Stewart is happy to exploit what has turned into a niche market for her.
The bakers in the north have been going crazy. You know, you take the store, you carry it all up there. You know, we need something down here. So it is time to come back to my people and ensure that they have what they need in St. Peter.
Ms. Stewart says Sprinkle Dinkle is bringing new life to the baking industry in the north of the island.
Well, we are in a niche market because there are not many businesses who offer the service of baking supplies only. And that's why you see I'm sticking to the baking supplies where I don't go off track, right? As well, people always saying, oh, there's nothing in Speightstown dead, and you know, but we're here to say that Speightstown is very much alive, and you can find what you need right here in Speightstown if you just come and take a look.
The St. Peter entrepreneur is also preparing for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
You can find your spatulas, you can find decorative balls, decorative flowers, edible roses and edible figurines. You can find diamond dust, you can find luster dust, you can find your torches and cake steamers, airbrush equipment, whatever you need. We have it right here.
Sprinkle Dinkle is a one-stop shop for bakers in the north of the island. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Time now. The second half of sports with Anne-Marie.
I promise football, and that's where I'll start. Local and regional footballers ages 14 to 23 are in for a chance to showcase their ability in the presence of coaches from numerous European clubs and colleges from the USA. This is Barbados-based recruiting agency Next Up Sports Empire, which is into its 4th year of existence, hosts a trial event from June 24th to 26th, catering for 100 young footballers. As we hear from founder of Next Up Sports Empire, Joshua James, registration has started for players to be part of a possible life-changing experience.
I've been in contact with several coaches from various clubs, colleges within the USA, and a few agents. Persons can expect a high level of coaching. Each coach will be participating within the camp as well. The benefits, though, very important. One, around 18 boys, if I'm correct, 18 boys, they will get the opportunity to travel to the USA to play against high-level colleges within the US. And then in September, 18 boys will then get the opportunity to travel to England, where they'll be playing against various academies, such as Watford, Reading, Queen's Park Rangers.
Just back from the UK, where a couple of players were scouted at a well-known English Premier League club, James says this is the opening of many more doors.
We set out with 2 under-20 national players from Barbados, Warren Truckman and Gerald Malcolm. They both play in the Barbados Premier League at the moment as well. We set out with the objective that, you know, they go on a 3-week program where they do some intensive training with a personal coach, and then they go on trial at Queen's Park Rangers. It went pretty successful. We have one boy who picked up interest from the club, so he's set to return in June, and we're hoping for the best for him.
Now, registration closes on May the 31st. The Barbados Royals Girls Club has received a $10,000 financial injection from the City of Bridgetown Cooperative Credit Union. The presentation was made at the club's training base at Friendship in St. Michael. Accepting the check was Chair of the Royal Girls Club, Dr. Sasha Sutherland, and its President, Roland Butcher. The funds are expected to help the club advance its programs in areas such as nutrition, after-school academic activities, and a planned free 2-week summer camp.
As you know, the game around the world for girls cricket now has improved so much, and it's a business that's going to be even bigger in the future. West Indies have been left behind somewhat in terms of cricket development for females, but what this girls cricket club wants to do now is to ensure that these young girls get the opportunity that the other people get around the rest of the world to develop their game to the best that they can be.
Marketing manager at COB, Marcus Myers, says it's part and parcel of the credit union's CARES program.
In 2013, we had sponsored a tape ball tournament, and there was a budding young Haley Matthews on one of the teams. And when we did that, we saw that spark in Haley. and she went on to later be one of our ambassadors in 2016. And we've been proud of everything that Hayley did, and that was since 2016. So imagine now she has seen meteoric success, one of the best cricketers in the world. And we have pride and joy when we see that we can develop and hone and at least contribute in some way to the youth and what they can do.
Global Ambassador for the Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club, Hayley Matthews, says the input from corporate Barbados is vital.
The opportunity that is able to create for young girls, probably an opportunity that I didn't necessarily have when I was this age. So it's great to see, and yeah, very happy to be a part of it, and happy that y'all can help these young girls to grow further on in life as well.
Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.